Hello, I'm Rick.
And I'm Rachel.
And today we're talking about why all runners need a shoe rotation.
A shoe rotation is when you have two or more pairs of running shoes, which you alternate between for your different training sessions and races even. Having more than two pairs of running shoes isn't a case of just hoarding. It's actually very beneficial. It can help to optimize your running performance for different sessions. It extends the life of your running shoes, and it can actually help to reduce your risk of injury, because when you wear different running shoes, it produces sort of different gait and it activates different muscles, which is actually a very good thing. So yeah, the more shoes you have, actually, probably the better you are as a runner.
That's good news, isn't it?
Yeah.
One to tell your loved ones. So everyone's shoe rotation is going to look different. It's going to depend on the kind of runner you are, kind of miles you're putting in, the kind of terrain you're running on. For this video, we thought, let's do a 3-shoe rotation, because that feels like a kind of realistic goal for a lot of runners to aim for. And I think we can cover quite a few bases with 3 shoes. And I think the first one to start with, probably the most important shoe in any kind of shoe collector's arsenal, is the daily trainer.
Daily trainer is the one that you would wear the most. A daily trainer is what you would use for your easy runs, your runs where you're building that aerobic fitness, building that base. They might not be the most exciting runs in your training plan, but they're probably arguably the most important and the most frequent. So in a daily trainer, you're actually looking for something that is gonna get you through a lot of miles, be quite hardy, sturdy, comfortable, and very dependable actually. So it's a no frills shoe.
Sure.
But it does the job well. This very white shoe, which I have worn, is the Puma DV8 Nitro 3. It's got 39 mils in the heel, 29 mils in the forefoot, so it gives a 10 mil drop, which is, quite substantial, I'd say, for a daily trainer.
Yeah.
But I actually really rate that because it makes it quite a lively shoe, quite an energetic shoe. I love wearing this shoe for long runs, and also it's really great when I'm on easy runs and I'm like, you know what, I might do some strides. I might do a bit of a tempo effort. These shoes help me to do it. It's got a dual density midsole, and one of the foams in it is the Nitro Elite foam, which Puma uses for its super shoe. Another thing is it's actually got a carbon plate.
Okay, which I would say is an unusual decision for a daily trainer or not.
It is. So this carbon plate is forked. It's not like, most super shoes don't have that. It's forked, so it's a bit more forgiving, it's more flexible, so that it doesn't have the aggression of a race day shoe. I love this shoe. It's supportive, it's comfortable, a little bit faster, which I personally really like, and yeah, never had a single blister, which is also a main thing to think about.
Bonus, yeah. I've gone with the New Balance Rebel version 4. It's a shoe that's just about reliability. Going to put it on for those kind of unglamorous but important sessions, easy runs to work, even done a lot of runs to work in this shoe. It's got 6mm drop, it's 212 grams, lots of cushioning. I think it's 30mm in the heel, 24mm in the forefoot, so a fair amount of cushioning, much more than you get from a traditional racing flat. A shoe like this, a good daily trainer should be your one shoe if you've only got one shoe, rather than a racing flat, I think.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like racing flats, they can actually sort of, they're great for racing in, but wear them too much and they can actually impact your gait. And sort of biomechanics. So whereas that actually would support you sort of biomechanically. Yeah,
exactly. And a little bit more rugged. I think you get some longevity in the shoe. Like, I've run quite a lot in this, but actually it still holds up really well. I don't feel like I need to replace the shoe anytime soon. So that's my daily training suggestion, or at least the one that I'm using at the minute.
So we've talked about race day, but what would we wear? Here are the race day shoes.
So I think race day shoe, it's fairly self-explanatory, but it's a shoe you want to wear for races. Probably not only that though, probably your key sessions, so like your interval sessions, maybe your tempo runs you can do in your race day shoe. We both picked carbon plated shoes, which I think is a pretty standard choice now for most sort of serious runners in 2025. So I picked the Asics Metaspeed Sky Paris. It's a classic super shoe in many ways. It's like 188 grams, I think. It's got high stack height, 39.5mm and 34.5mm in the forefoot. So actually only a 5mm heel to toe drop. And that is because Asics is saying that this is a shoe for kind of forefoot runners and midfoot runners. It is a great shoe, really responsive. Worn on a few races, wore at the London Landmarks Half 2024. Was very impressed. Great responsiveness. Not a shoe I'd wear that often, but I feel like if I was looking to try and make some attempts at PBs, a shoe like this would be a good bet.
And it looks like a super shoe.
It does, doesn't it? It's not subtle, but look at that.
Super shoes aren't subtle, unlike this one, I'd say. This is the On Cloudboom Strike. It's got 39.5mm in the heel, 35.5mm in the forefoot. So actually it's only got a 4mm drop.
Yeah, which is a lot less,
which is even less. This shoe is very fast. I love wearing it for races and interval sessions. It's got a really nice sort of rocker geometry at the front, which I personally really rate as someone with a generally higher cadence. It's got a full-length speed board plate, which is On's name for a carbon plate, which really helps with the propulsion. Very snappy, firm midsole foam as well. We've got a removable bounce board. This bounce board helps with propulsion, but it also adds a bit of springiness, a bit of comfort. So that means that when I'm sort of running at those faster efforts, a lot of my interval sessions are actually relatively long by the time you've done the warm up, the session, the cool down. So I'm on my feet for quite a long time. So I love wearing this shoe for the comfort and the speed, especially with this really nice mesh upper, which is like a single piece of material that sort of hugs around my slightly narrower foot very well, lets my foot breathe. It's just really nice to run in, very fast.
Excellent. So I think with the third shoe in your shoe rotation, you have license to experiment a little bit, and it's going to say a little bit more about who you are as a runner and the kind of running you like to do and the kind of terrain you like to run on. For me, it's really important in a shoe rotation to have something that's off-road. In summer, actually, you can get away with a kind of daily train on most sort of British trails. For me, also, good shoe rotation, you're going to have variety. So you're going to have shoes with a bit of a heel to toe drop, and also in the case of this one you're going to have a zero drop shoe. And this is a shoe that lets me do it. It's called the Innovate Trail Fly Zero. It's very, very flexible, like this, flexible that way and flexible that way. Lots of Innovate shoes are like that. It's got 4mm lugs on the bottom, so that means it's really a shoe for drier trails or kind of summer and spring months in this country. And it's got that zero drop platform. And why I think that's important in rotation is that when you go zero drop, you put more emphasis on your Achilles and your calf, and probably even your foot. And I think getting a strong foot, Achilles and calf is actually a really, really smart idea and can ward off injuries further up the chain, further up your leg. So I think keeping in touch with minimalism a couple of times a week for me is a really smart choice. And I would probably run in this shoe twice a week, something easy midweek, and then I might even do a long run. I often do long runs off-road. Just something I actually encourage more people to consider, at least, because I think a lot of elite runners do more mileage off-road, at least off concrete, than their amateur equivalents in terms of a kind of ratio of running.
Very nice.
Thank you.
Well, I've gone for something very different.
Oh, okay.
In fact, probably the other extreme. So you've gone minimalist, I've gone maximalist. So I've gone for the max cushioned Nike Vomero 18. It's 46mm in the heel, 36mm in the forefoot. So it's actually got a pretty decent 10mm drop. I like wearing this for my very easy runs and recovery runs, is because, unlike Rick here, I spend very little time out on the trails, and I would say I spend most of my time running on pavements, which, as we know, can be quite hard on the body, especially if you're doing lots of speed sessions. Whereas this shoe is extremely effective in dampening those ground impact forces, which can affect your joints, your body, you know, your biomechanics. So this shoe helps me have a break from all that. It's so comfortable, but it's not overbearing. It's still got these breathable zones across the upper, so my foot doesn't get stuffy or hot. Yeah. It's still a fairly nimble shoe. I guess the one similarity between our third choice is that the shoe also has lugs. Yeah, great, yeah. Some old school waffle lugs. It's very grippy, so it's just a really sort of dependable shoe. You know, you're not going to be sort of twisting your ankle or falling over in this shoe. Yeah. So, yeah, big fan. And yes, it is another white shoe, but it does come in colourways. So that brings us to the end of this riveting and educational video tutorial into the benefits of the shoe rotation. Your shoe rotation will look different to ours, I'm sure, and that's a good thing. It should say something about you as a runner. But I do think that starting with 3 shoes in your rotation and making sure that each one is actually quite different from the other is a fine place to start. Absolutely. If you're going to make space for anything in your life, make space for lots of running shoes, because no matter how much the people you live with will complain, it's actually good for you. As we said, you know, it will help to improve your performance, reduce the risk of injury, extend the life of your shoes, and I'd say it would actually help to increase motivation. There's nothing like putting on a new pair of shoes and giving them a spin. It always puts a smile on our faces.
So good luck in creating your own shoe rotation. It will look different to ours, and that's a good thing. It should say something about you as a runner. But I think a good place to start is daily trainer, race day shoe, and something a little different for the third shoe. And just make sure that each shoe is suitably different from the other. Let us know what's in your shoe rotation. Give us a comment below. And thanks very much for watching.
Thank you.